What's up, everybody? It is Amy O with Life Redesigned, where we grow through what we go through today. I am talking about a must have in your life. Okay, all of you know that I'd love to talk about taking action, taking action, taking action. Today, I have got another must have of something that you need in your life. Let's talk about it. What is it? Decision making. Woo! Okay, let's talk about first what decision making is. I know it sounds really basic, but decision making essentially is taking action. Decision making is taking that step to make a decision that affects other people's lives, including our own. Decision making is very essential. Okay, I think we can all agree that it's very essential when we need to make decisions toward our goals, for our household, for the businesses that we run. Sometimes we get very tripped up in decision making, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Sometimes decision making can come very quick and easy, and sometimes it can just feel very lengthy and long and really drawn out. So we're going to talk about those two different avenues, but we're going to talk about why getting the actual deed of decision making done is very, very, very important. So decision making is a definite must have in your life because decision making is needed for you to launch forward to achieve any goal that you ever set your mind to. I don't care if it is cleaning the table. I don't care if it is taking the kids for a walk, if it's starting a business, if it's hitting a goal in your business, if it is running a marathon, if it is no matter what it is, personal business, it is essential to be able to make decisions and to make strong decisions in that aspect. Decision making is essential because it's going to launch you. It's going to move you. It's kind of like if you can imagine sitting in a car and the car never goes. Okay. That's what it would be like if you didn't have decision making in your car or in your life. You're in the car and you're never moving. Decision making helps propel you forward, move you forward in some sort of direction. That's why we need it. Okay. It's also going to help build strategies. So it's going to build strategies in our life, which is also going to plunge forward toward the goals that we have and what it is that we are doing. And it's also going to help us be very, very, very productive. Raise your hand if you love productivity. Raise your hand if you love to check things off of your list. Raise your hand if you love getting things done. That is me all the way. I'm pretty sure it is you too. So being productive is the best thing for all of us because it's going to save us time. We're going to have better use of our resources, right? We're going to be more efficient. We're going to have more energy. So decision making is so essential. These are just 3 examples of why they're essential in our life. So let's talk a little bit about the process, and then we're going to kind of talk about these 2 sides that I was mentioning before. So the process, in my opinion, there's like 5 or 6 key steps and how you're going to actually make a decision. Okay. So let me know in the comments maybe like where you are in decision making. So give me in the comments if you give me like a little clap emoji, if you just love making decisions, you're always quick with your decisions, and give me some sort of like crazy emoji in the comments if this just really freaks you out and scares you a little bit. You know, often when we're going to make those decisions, it can feel really overwhelming at times, depending on what we're making a decision about. So it is an important thing to kind of to look at. Because there's also a mindset shift in that as well, which we're going to talk about at the end. Okay. So let's talk about the process first. Let me know in the comments where you're at with decisions. The very first thing is we're just going to identify that a decision needs to be made. Okay. So it's just the identity of, okay, here I am. What does this situation look like? What is going on? Okay. You're kind of just like figuring out, and you know what? A decision needs to be made here. I am needed to make a decision within this community. I am needed to make a decision within my business. I am needed to make a decision with my family, for my children, for my parents, for myself right now. A decision is highly needed in this space and time and presence that I am in. Okay. So step 1 is we are just identifying that a decision needs to be made. Step 2 is we are going to gather any information that we have to kind of talk to really figure out what is going on with the situation at hand. So if we first identify that there's a decision that needs to happen, and then we're going to gather every single ounce and piece of information that we have. So for example, let's say I am making a decision to get back into working out. If that is my decision, I'm going to gather as much information as I can about the gyms in my area, where I'm interested about going, financially, what that's going to cost me, when I'm actually going to do it, how I'm going to get there, when I'm going to plan it in my day, how it's going to affect anybody else in my life, how many times a week I'm going to do it, how it's going to fit in my calendar. Okay. Anything and everything that you can, gather the information. Let's say you are looking to start a business. You are going to gather, if there's a decision that needs to be made there, you're going to gather all of that information. Let's say you are looking to launch your business and expand your business and grow your business. You're going to gather some information about, okay, there's a decision that needs to be made here. I'm going to gather information about coaches. I'm going to gather information about programs. I'm going to see what's out there. What do I have the capability of doing? What do I not have the time to do? All of these things are going to be that factor. Okay, so step one, we are going to identify a decision. Step two, we're going to gather any information that we can find regarding the situation at hand and around the decision that we need to make. And step three, we're going to assess. So now we've got the information, we know a decision is going to be made, and now we're going to assess. We are going to look at the facts, look at the information. Some of that might be more than facts because it could be affecting other people. There could be emotions involved. So I might want to look at those. I might not, depends on the situation and decision at hand. So I'm going to assess everything that's going on. Okay. What direction do I want to go with this decision? If I make this decision, these are the things that could happen. If I make this, these are the things that could happen. If I make this, these are the things that can happen. Which brings us to, and sometimes I say 5 or 6 steps because sometimes this can be rolled into the next one. So assessing, and then number 4 is really just exploring all the options. So assessing and exploring all the options kind of can run together. So you're exploring all the options. So maybe I've got 6 options, maybe I've got 7 options. I'm exploring each option, okay, of what this might look like for my life and how I'm going to make this decision work. I could explore this one and I go, wow, if I make this decision, all of these people are going to be affected. If I make this decision, this is what my life will look like moving forward. If I make this decision, this is how I will propel into my goals moving forward. Okay. So, what is each situation going to look like for you, for the people around you, for your staff, for your children, for your household? What is all of that going to look like? Really important. Okay. Step 5 or 4, depending on how you're looking at it, we'll go with step 5. My favorite, you all know, scream it and shout it out loud. Take action. Okay. Take action and make the decision. We are going to pause here for just a second. This is the hardest, most difficult, sometimes the most stressful, uncomfortable, unwavering, icky feeling that we just don't want to go through. So often we might go through steps 1 through 4, and we might just hang out. And we might go back to 1, and then we go to 4, and then we go back to 3, and then we go to 4, and then 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 2, 1, right? We keep bouncing back and forth, and all of a sudden, before you know it, so much time has gone by and we haven't made a decision. We haven't even moved forward toward our goal. We haven't made one different step moving forward towards starting that business or propelling our sales or anything. We haven't done anything. Nothing's happened because we are stuck between 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 4, right? So what is the key here? It is to take action. Now, hear me when I say this, y'all. when you are going to make decisions, I know that it can get so stressful. Trust me, I know. I have been there in situations where you are like, I don't want to make that decision. I don't want it to be this. And I don't even want to make a decision about this, but you have to, right? Either way, it's going to be hard. But here's the thing. Make it. Okay. This is the number one key in decision making, is that you've just got to make it. What we often fail to remember is that no matter the decision we make, no matter the action that is involved in the decision that we think we might need to take, there's still action. And any action moves us forward. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. Any action moves us forward. Any decision moves us forward. And right now you're saying, Amy, you're crazy because what if I make the wrong decision? What am I going to do? There isn't a wrong decision. Okay, hear me when I say that. There is not a wrong decision, because if you make a decision and it maybe wasn't the best decision that you could make at that time, you will learn from that. It was meant to be that's where you are at, to learn, meet somebody, take a different path, pivot, turn around, look another way, be around different people, journey from the Lord that He's calling you to do, whatever it might be. That is where you are now moving forward. Okay. So there isn't a bad decision to make. You hear me on that? There's not. Okay. If you make the best decision for the situation, things can go as planned. You've assessed everything and you go, all right, I crushed it. I crushed that decision for this situation, right? So now you move forward, and guess what? You still learn. You're still on a new path. The journey moves forward. See what I'm saying? Either way, you make this decision or this decision, you go on this path or this path. Either way, you are moving. And the most important thing about growing and leading, understanding, reflecting is moving. And the thing that people go, how do you move? You take action. How do you decide? You decide. You do it. Like, you do it, right? You take that action. Okay. So taking action, number 5, that's the kicker. Okay, you guys, that is the kicker with what we have to do. Number 6 is you need to communicate it to anybody that you need to communicate your decision. If you are making a decision in business and you have a team of individuals that are your management team, and you go, okay, this is the way that the company is moving, you need to communicate that to your leaders. Okay. You need to communicate that to your leaders, so your leaders can communicate that to your staff, so your staff can communicate that to your students, and you can all work together under the umbrella of your brand to be able to move forward, your family, home, whatever that looks like. All right. So just today we had a manager's call for about an hour and a half with my front lines, with my front teammates. And I communicated with them a decision that I had made. Okay, here's the decision. This is what we're doing. This is where we're at moving forward. And I communicated with them. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. These are the next steps of my decisions that I'm making. So right now I'm making this decision. The next step is this decision. The next step is this, right? So here's the thing. Within that lied more decisions. Okay, so we needed to decide on a day that we were going to meet. So we communicate in Slack. If you don't use Slack, holy moly, I love it. It's the best way to communicate with a huge team of people, in my opinion. So we communicate in there. We're talking about a day that we can meet that works best for everybody. Guess what? Somebody needs to make a decision, or what will happen? Fill in the blanks, you guys. We will never meet. It will never happen. We'll never meet, right? If somebody doesn't make a decision on the day and the time, we will never meet. So today, within the decision that I made, was another decision of when we needed to meet, was another decision of what homework needed to be decided for us to do before we meet. Propels our goals, moves the company, deciding factors on hitting our goals by the end of the year, doing all of these things. I want them to be successful. And in order for them to be successful, I've got to make decisions. If no one is making decisions, nothing is happening. Nothing is moving. No one's going anywhere. Nada, nothing, no one, nowhere, nah, 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 nah. Okay. We've got to make the decisions. It really is going to establish a difference between you and leadership and not in leadership. Decision makers are leaders. Leaders are decision makers. Okay. It's also going to be very healthy for you to be a decision maker because it creates boundaries. Raise your hand if you love or hate boundaries, but raise your hand if boundaries are a thing for you. I know they've been a thing for me to work on constantly, but raise your hand if you know and believe that boundaries are healthy. You guys, we've got to make decisions to set those boundaries and keep those boundaries in place. If we never make decisions, guess what happens to boundaries? Plop, they fall over. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if nobody ever made a decision in business? Can you imagine if nobody ever made a decision in war, in a household? What's for dinner? How are you going to eat if nobody makes a decision? Do you see how important this is? Do you see where we're headed here? It's going to increase your productivity by far. We talked about that a ton. What I love here is it's going to cultivate innovation. You're going to feel so creative with that. When you start implementing decisions within your company, within your staff, within your managers, it's just going to cultivate that innovation piece that your company's been missing. It's just going to allow you to thrive based on that leadership and that strong decision making. Here's what else I love that it does. It builds your confidence, okay? Because here's why. If you make a decision, remember our paths, if you make a decision and you go this way and it wasn't the best decision, what did you do? You learned, hopefully you're doing this, you learned from it, you're going to grow from it, you're going to pivot, you're going to assess that you need a new decision, gather the information and make the decision, right? You're going to do this process all over again. So here's what's going to happen is you are going to grow. You are going to learn, you're going to understand, and then you're going to make a better decision next time based on that information, right? Raise your hand if you've made a terrible decision in the same category of your life. Hi, me, right? I've made a ton of decisions where I'm like, wow, probably shouldn't have decided on that one in business. Oh, shouldn't have decided on that one for my personal life. Yeah, we've all done it. But here's the thing. You can't be mad about it because you're thankful, you grow, you pivot, and you learn, and you only get stronger. When do we get stronger? In the valleys. When do we get stronger? When we pivot. When do we get stronger? When we make decisions. Okay. So last but not least, listen, your decisions affect people. Your decisions should not be made solely on how other people will feel, act, what will happen in their lives. It can be taken into consideration, and it should be on certain times more than others. But you have got to make decisions that are best for your company, and sometimes that means taking emotions out of those decisions. Okay. Welcome to leadership, my friends. You've got to make decisions that are going to drive your dollars, drive your sales, drive your leaders, drive innovation, drive creativity. You have got to be that person. And in order to be that person, making decisions is hard. Hard decision making, strong decision making can be so difficult at times. I have been there more than once, more than twice. But you know what? I have learned every single time. And what I have found is those decisions that I made that were the hardest for me to make had the largest, most positive impact on my life and on my business than ever before, than all the little ones. Okay? You ready to take a risk? Are you ready to stay strong? Are you ready to build that confidence? I want to give you confidence again and remind you there is no bad decision to make. There is no wrong action to take. If you are stuck and you're like, holy cow, I just literally cannot figure out which decision to do. Don't forget, sometimes there's two really great paths. Sometimes you go, but okay, I've narrowed it down to either this or this. It's just got to be one. Why? Why not be at peace with at least choosing one of them, knowing that no matter which you choose is a great path, is the right path? Because sometimes we are left and we are presented with options, more than one options. It's not this decision is good and this decision is bad. It can be I have options and I have really great options and I can do a lot of really great things. What is it that I want to decide to do? Okay. So think about that. I want to leave you with that because that's really powerful to think about. I know you can do this. I know you can do this because if I can do it, you can do it. Okay. you can practice. If you say, Amy, I'm just no good at this, I don't know how I can have confidence like you. Listen, I wasn't born with confidence. I messed up so much. I chose a path. I made a decision, and I look back and I go, oh my gosh, why did I make that decision? But I learned and I grew, and I'm here, and it's beautiful, and the journey is amazing. My son just asked me the other day, Mom, if is there anything like in your life that you would change, or any decisions you wish you didn't make? And I said, that's really hard to say, because I am who I am, and I am where I am, and I'm surrounded by who I'm surrounded by. And yeah, looking back on paper, it's really, really messy. But you know what? Every decision I made catapulted me to be at this exact moment, at this exact time, talking with you and sharing all of this with you. And that excites me. So if this is exciting to you, give me a me in the comments, because I also want to give you one of my free courses called Do It or Screw It. It's one of my favorite courses about taking action, which comes right alongside strong decision making. I want to give that to you for free. It's regularly almost $100, and I want to give it to you for free. So just comment me in the comments. I'll send that over to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you next week for more with Life Redesigned, where we grow through what we go through. See y'all.